Hey, I'm Harrison. When was the last time you had a deep, meaningful conversation with somebody? If it's been a while, don't worry, you're in the right place. This podcast is designed to open your mind to new perspectives and topics in the realms of health, personal growth, and, well, life. Welcome to the Let's Talk About Life podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Let's Talk About Life podcast. My name's Harrison King. Thanks so much for tuning in, joining me here on this Friday. I'm so happy to have you here, and I really enjoy these mini episodes. I say it every time because I absolutely adore it, and you guys as well. So thanks so much for tuning in. I wanted to just acknowledge the people that I got some hardcore fans here, and I can see who's listening from where. We have people from all across the world listening in, and I would just, if you're a regular listener of this show, and you listen to almost every episode, and you're hearing this one right now, head on over to Instagram and send me a message. You can send it to my Instagram, which is Harrison King Official, or you can send it to the Let's Talk About Life one, which is at Let's Talk About Life Pod. And just send me a message and say, let me know what you think and that you are following along, because I don't know who is listening regularly. So I wanna connect with you guys. So thanks again for listening regularly, and we're gonna do another. This is gonna be probably a pretty short minisode, so a little quick one. But I want to talk about some things to create balance in your life. And usually do lots of, again, throw facts in here and stuff like that for the minisodes. And we're not really doing that today. Just some things that I've come up with that I try to implement in my life, and I think that you should implement, or at least try to, in your life if you're trying to create some balance. And I guess we should start off right there. What is balance? What do I mean by balance? Well, we all know that life can be stressful, and it's hard to stay focused on the things you want to be doing when you've just got so much on the go. We live in a busy world, right? And we're very busy. So the balance between, it could be work, it could be school, it just could be personal projects, it could be anything, relationships, whatever, and just feeling centered and grounded and balancing all those things in your life. And I like to look at balance through the lens of, work kind of, and those types of things that are like very focused and intentional, that you're trying to work towards something, and then maybe just a little more fun, relaxed, kind of the wellness side of things, if that makes any sense. So for me, that's just like chilling out, hanging out, that kind of thing. How do you create balance and so you can sustain what you're doing and not feel like you're treading water? Because you can get there, right? I think everybody gets there. You can get burnt out, and I will willingly say that I do it too. Sometimes you just work really hard and you're working so hard on one thing or whatever, and then all of a sudden you just have a big drop and everything sucks, it feels like, for a day, and things are just tough and whatever. We're trying to prevent that, and that's how you prevent that with balance. So if you do struggle with that, you're not alone. And I think it's a never-ending process trying to figure out how to create balance. So I'm definitely not an expert, like I always say, and I'm not even able to fully implement these into my life all the time because it's hard. But here are a couple things that you can do to create balance. So I got 6 things here. We're gonna call it the 6 things to create balance in your life. And again, apply these to your life as you see fit. Pick one of them, do all of them, whatever you want. It's up to you. Don't feel pressure at all. And I think the first thing, and one of the most important things, is a daily or as regular, let's say regular grounding practice. Grounding, centering, whatever you want to call it. But and by that I mean just kind of bringing it back to yourself and calming yourself down, and like kind of intentional relaxation type thing, some intentional time for yourself. That's really what it is, right? And so you can take time out of the busy day, and maybe it's before the day starts, and just center yourself and kind of go, where are you starting from? What's the, it's like you're building a house or something, building a cake. I made a cake the other day. I made this fancy cake for my brother, and that's why I'm thinking about cake. Anyway, that's completely irrelevant. But cake decorating, lots of fun. Okay, complete side topic. Might have to start a podcast about cake decorating. But if you're starting a cake, you got 3-level cake. You can't build the top 2 if you don't have the bottom one. So the bottom one, what am I trying to say? The bottom one is your grounding practice. You can't really start building on all the extra stuff. You need a foundation of the house, right? So that's your grounding practice, and it could be meditation, journaling, some sort of gratitude thing. It could be a gratitude journal. You want to mix them up. It could even just be as much as tossing out into the world and say, hey, universe, I'm happy to be here. I'm thankful for being here today. And I'm grateful that I have a house. I have these friends, my family, whatever it is. Maybe it's your dog. It might just even be the blanket if you're in bed in the morning and you're like, oh, this blanket's wonderful. Just toss it out there. Be grateful for it, right? Gratitude practice. If it's your thing, you could do a prayer, or even just a mindful walk. That's all it has to be. Just go for a little stroll and try to just be present in the stroll. Stroll. It's a funny word. In the walk, right? And just kind of center yourself and focus on yourself and what are you feeling, and just calm yourself down. Little grounding practice. And I think it's, if you start the day specifically, you can do that whenever and multiple times a day, ideally, I guess, if you can. It's hard. I don't know if I find it challenging to do it multiple times a day, but definitely if you can do it daily or every other day or whatever, regularly in the morning, you probably notice a dramatic difference in how you're feeling about your balance in your life. So the other thing that goes off that, and the next thing I've got here is setting boundaries. And this is an interesting one because it's tough. It's tough because we talked about habits before, and we get stuck in habits, and you just have one thing that you want to do all the time or whatever. So that might be checking your emails or your text messages, more likely, or maybe it's social media notifications or whatever your thing is. I don't know what else people are doing on their phone, but it could be computer too. It could be the TV. But I'm saying that because if you wake up in the morning, it's one of the first things you do. It's hard to get out of it because we talked about habits before. But the setting boundaries is like an intentional, what do I not want to do? Or at certain points, let me give you an example. So this is something I've started to try to implement into my life. And it's not responding to messages and emails and texts and whatever after a certain time. So for me, it's 9:30 p.m. is what I'm going for. Because for me, you have to figure out what's important in your life. So right now I'm trying to just make my time before I go to bed, my sleep kind of routine or whatever. I want to perfect it as much as I possibly can for myself. And part of that is having a time where you just shut off that stuff. And if emails are always coming in or text messages, or somebody texts you and go, hey, can you do blah, blah, blah? Well, yeah, you're going to probably do it because you have access to it. But the thing to remember is that specifically with our phones, that just because we have the ability to be contacted all the time doesn't mean you have to answer all the time. And I get caught up in that, where it feels like we're obligated to. You have the ability, so they know that they've got, somebody texts you and you go, well, I know that you've got your phone on you. Why are you not answering? You don't have to feel obligated to. But the whole boundaries thing, you set a boundary, and for me, it's no emails, text, whatever after a certain hour. That's gonna help create balance, because then you need to say you're telling yourself that this time is spent for, like, during the day, that kind of stuff. This time, evening time for me, is dedicated just to that. Now, I'm saying emails, text doesn't have to be that kind of thing. It could be like food related, if that's something you want to work on. Maybe you notice that you're snacking a lot at nighttime and you don't want to be, or maybe that affects your mood and whatever, and that would help you have a little more balance in your life and you don't want to be doing it. Then set a boundary there. Could be a relationship boundary, right? And those kinds of things, like spending time with certain people. You kind of say, oh, I'm only going to do this much. And it doesn't have to be a big thing, but simple. But I think one of the ones, if you could try something, is the emails and texts thing on your phone. And how you do that, if you have an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, I'm sorry, I don't know how to help you. But there's probably an app or something that does it. Or maybe it's built into the Samsung or Android phones. No idea. But it's called downtime on your iPhone. And a lot of you've probably heard of screen time. It tracks your screen time. You can set app limits and stuff. But downtime is like, I have set up do not disturb after a certain time, whatever. But now you go on my phone, 9:30 comes along. I'm actually not even able to click on the contacts to message anybody. It won't let me call or text anybody in a certain, I have people that can, certain people that I would like to hear from, or that I need to talk to at that time. I have it on. But like if it's just like an email or whatever, you can't even open the app. So I actually have everything shuts off. All the apps, everything, and texts and whatever. So I want to go on, search the internet after 9:30. Can't do it because it won't let me. So it's obviously you can get around it, but the whole point is just to make you go, oh, okay, I understand. I'm not supposed to be doing this after this hour. So you set those boundaries, and then it makes you go, oh, you take a little bit of a breath and go, yeah, I don't have to be worried about that right now. It's okay. It can wait. And that leads me right into the next one, which is don't create shoulds. That's number 3. Don't create shoulds. And what I mean by that is I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I should be responding to this message, that email I'm talking about right there. I should be hanging out with this person, or I should be developing this relationship with another person that maybe I don't want to. Those shoulds, it just comes down to do what you want to do. And that sounds selfish, but that's kind of the way I think you need to go. You need to do what you want to do. Don't feel obligated to do things. Now, there are some things you need to do and that you maybe don't want to, and we've talked about pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. That's a different kind of thing, but I'm talking where you're like, oh, I feel like I should do this, but I really don't want to. Well, then maybe just reevaluate. How could you reframe it, do something a little differently? You're not obligated to do it. So as far as the shoulds go, that's something to think about. Don't create those shoulds. Don't even give them any time of day. Rephrase it into something else. Maybe it's not a should. Maybe it's a that I'm feeling pressured to or obligated to. Why is that? Think about it. Kind of reframe it and go about it another way. But that's the shoulds. Number 3, don't create shoulds. And that I want to just stick on this emails and text thing after a certain hour, or maybe it's before a certain hour, whatever it is. Maybe it's midday. It could be a whole day. There's people, actually, I don't know if you know this, there's people that will be like, I only respond to my emails like Tuesday afternoon, and that's it. And then people just know, okay, well, like if I email him Thursday, I gotta wait all the way to next Tuesday until I get a response, and that's just the way it is. Nothing you can do about it. So people will adapt. You don't have to feel obligated to be doing things. People will adapt if you place boundaries, and they'll be like, oh, okay, well, they only respond to emails on Tuesdays. What you gonna do about it? So the shoulds thing, it's a hard thing to get to deal with, and I don't really have an answer necessarily of the best way to do it, but just something to keep in mind. And I think something that's really, really, really important, and I've already said this once, but I actually think this is the one thing to try. Okay, one takeaway is scheduling breaks or downtime into your day. The breaks thing, especially if you're working all day or whatever. I think with anything, but you got to find what works for you. But take breaks, regular breaks throughout the day. So if you're working, let's say average person, maybe 8-hour day, if that's your thing, right? Take breaks every 90 minutes. It usually kind of fits with the average person's ultradian rhythm for focusing. Ultradian, I had to look that one up because circadian, we know what that is. That's like a is it daily? I think it was what we're talking about. Circadian is like your body, right? And your kind of natural. I think it's a 24-hour cycle, right? Ultradian is smaller. So focusing 90 minutes is usually about best, it sounds like. But that might not be your thing. There's also been a study that said that working for 52 minutes and then taking a 17-minute break is great too. I'm not sure if that is accurate because that doesn't add up to an hour. Which doesn't have to, I guess it doesn't have to add up to an hour. But 52 minutes and then take a 17-minute break. So maybe that's your thing. Or whatever works for you. Sometimes I do 45, take a 10-minute. And the thing about it, you feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough work. Well, actually, you'll be much more productive when you come back to it. And what I found is that I spent a couple weeks doing this very kind of just very focused on doing the break thing. And I didn't, at the end of the week, it didn't feel like exhausted or like burnt out. I was like, I actually got a lot of energy. And I could just keep going and doing things because I gave myself the time to recharge in between instead of pushing through for like 4 hours, right? And then you're like, oh, now I need a break. Or you do the whole 8-hour day and you come back and you're like, oh, I need like to watch a show and drink a beer or something. You're going to get away from those things if you take the break throughout the day. So something really important to focus on. And again, those are things that 52 minutes on, 17 off is a proven one, but also taking breaks every 90 minutes. And about 15 minutes seems to be a pretty good thing. And I think it works for me. I think it works for a lot of people, but whatever works for you. If you're maybe like don't work for 15 and then take 15 off. You probably do longer than that, but again, find what works for you. If it's 45 or maybe it's an hour and a half, maybe it's 2 hours, and then it's like I take a 20-minute break, whatever. But just incorporate it into your schedule and actually schedule it in. That's the important thing. If you got a calendar, Google Calendar, I toss it on the Google Calendar for the day. I say, what am I doing? So I got meetings. I got these things to do. Okay, at this time, here we are at 11:15, 11:30, break. And then you follow that calendar. If you follow your calendar or whatever you do to keep track of stuff, then when you hit that, take the time. Stop. whatever you're doing, you can continue with it after, and you will feel much better when you come around to finish it and come around to the end of the week, right? And it's just gonna prevent that longer term burnout. Like I said, like the end of the week, you feel better. End of the day, and the focus. So that's a big thing for the balance, I think, is the breaks. So take some breaks, all right? And number, what are we on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, look at us go. Be present. I got here, number 5, be present. And this kind of obviously ties into the daily grounding practice I was talking about, grounding. But what I mean by be present is just incorporating some of those grounding exercises we're talking about into your day. And the more you do them daily, in the morning, whatever meditation, the easier it'll be throughout the day. But it might just be you're reading an article or something online, typing up a little paper, whatever you're doing during the day when you're focused, and take a minute and focus on the breath, or just go like scan the room, really be present in the room. What's happening? What am I feel? Like, what do I feel here? I can feel the mouse, I can feel the keyboard, I can feel the chair, what I'm sitting on, low body scan, oh, my lower back's a little tight. Oh, okay. Whatever. There's a nice smell, I feel the breeze, whatever that is, right? What are you seeing around you? Just be present. And yeah, on your breaks, you could do it too, right? Focusing on your breath or something like that. But try to create that grounding thing. If you're not doing it at all, start with maybe in the mornings, every once in a while. Work your way up to daily. Practice something in the morning if you can, and then throughout the day, you could do a little mini meditation. You could do 3-5 minutes, whatever. It can be a minute of breathing, and that'll calm you right down. Now, something I learned the other day from Andrew Huberman. He was on a podcast, and if you don't know Andrew Huberman, great guy. Check him out. I think it's like Huberman Lab or something on Instagram. You can check him out. Anyway, he was talking about relieving stress and physiologically and how you do it, and super simple, right? Breathe in, and then breathe in a little more, extra sip if you can, and then a like a sigh out. That's all it is. With a sound if you can. Now, I apologize, Andrew, if for some reason you happen to watch this and that was slightly wrong. I apologize. But the whole point was that you get the breathing in, 2 breaths, right? And then the out, it actually releases stress in your lungs. So it's actually making you less stressed. So something like that. You just do something like that, and that counts as being present. One of those practices throughout the day. You could also, something to try is setting a little mental shut-off switch when you go between tasks. So let's say you're working on whatever it is. You're going between 2 tasks. You're just finishing one, moving on to the next one during the day working. Just forget about the last one. Just focus on what you're doing. And even better, you finish work, you want a break, or you finish work, or whatever you're doing. Maybe it's the weekend and you're still thinking about other things. Try to practice shutting off that side and say, oh, I'm thinking about this project I have to do, but I'm actually playing basketball with my friends right now. Shut off the little switch in your brain for the other thing and focus on the basketball. And that being present, at least being aware of it. It's not easy, and I have not mastered it at all. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea, but if you can try to incorporate that into your day, being present throughout the day, even if it's once a day, even if it's once a week to start, and you actually notice it, if you actually can notice that you need to spend a couple minutes and be present, that's a win. Then you go, wow, I actually haven't been paying attention, and it's really hot in here, or this, ceiling is really blue in this room that I'm in, or that kind of thing. That's a win, 100%. So be present. And the last thing I've got on here, number 6, is really important: self-reflection. And it's the only way to continue to find balance, and actually find what works to you to find balance in your life, is to check in with yourself regularly, and then you can make those changes to make it better, or what is not working, or whatever. So that could be, that could be weekly, that could be daily, whatever works for you. Maybe it's only a month kind of thing, but some sort of regular self-reflection check-in, I think, is necessary. And like I said, at the end of the day, if you want to do a little journaling, maybe that's your thing. Meditation in the morning, journaling at night. Maybe journaling is your grounding thing. It could be a combination, right? But the self-reflection, you just kind of check in and go, what's up? How am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Okay, what did I do today? All right, this week I focused on taking breaks and I feel way better. All right, awesome. Check mark. Let's continue doing that. But you know what? I wasn't really super present. I took breaks, but I wasn't super present. Let's do a little more of that. And maybe it's something else that I didn't even list on here. So just check in with yourself always is important, and doing what is right for you. I listed these things, and it might not all of these things. There might be something that like some of you out there that none of these are good. You're like, I'm not feeling it, Harrison, and that's okay. But find the things. Think about this now. And what works for you? Self-reflection, very important. Now, just kind of a couple extras, not really maybe on the list. They didn't make the top 6, but just things that I know that make me feel better, and maybe they'll make you feel better, and create balance. Exercising, and moving, just moving. Going on a walk is enough. Doing some squats or something. Maybe it's some jumping jacks. Maybe it's whatever, running on the spot for a little bit. High intensity interval training, short workout. Whatever it is, move your body. It'll make you feel better, 100%. And if that's not your thing, work your way up to it. But that'll create some balance in your life for sure, because it makes you feel better, relieve stress and all that good stuff. And of course, as always, choose good fuel, put good things in your body. Food, you are made up of food, right? Your brain is made up of food. Your heart, everything about you is made up of the food you put in your body. So if you're feeling a little stressed or whatever, want to reduce stress, maybe start with that. Eating some good whole foods, right? We're talking whole fruits and veggies, organic if you can, grass-fed meat, that kind of thing. Avoid processed, refined flours and processed foods and that kind of thing. But just fuel your body with good food, right? And surround yourself with good people. So important to keep balanced. If you've noticed that you're around a lot of, people that are making you feel stressed or whatever, you want to try to find maybe it's only one person in your life or somebody you can reach out to. It's a good person, and that you feel you really connect with, and they'll help you to create the balance in your life, and they'll just enforce those boundaries that you're already talking about. They'll help you. If they're a good friend and a good person, they'll help you if they're aligned with what you want to be doing, and being surrounded by that is just so important. That support, and try something new or do an old thing differently. Trying something new is the only way to figure out what works for you. So if you haven't done one of these things I talked about before, if there's something else that you haven't done that you think might help find some balance in your life, do it. If it doesn't work, well, then you do your little check-in and you say, hey, it didn't work, let's not do that. But if it did work, then you know. So, and the other thing I said, do an old thing differently. If there's something you're always doing and maybe it's not quite working, use the habit stuff we talked about and change it up. And last, but certainly not least, just enjoy. I think that's one of the most important things. Just got to enjoy. Remember, I said the other day, I had people laughing, but it's completely true that, we've got a lot going on and there's a lot of things happening and a lot of stressors in our environment and whatever, but after all, we're just on a rock floating through space. So nothing really matters in the end as much as things matter, but things don't matter as much as maybe they don't carry as much weight as you're putting on maybe yourself or on that item. So just enjoy, relax a little bit. Try to think about that and give yourself some perspective and just try to enjoy. It might be hard, but I know you can do it. So there you go. 6 things. I'll list them off again here. A daily or regular grounding practice. All right. Number 1. Number 2, set some boundaries. Number 3, don't create those shoulds in your life, right? You're not obligated to do anything. Number 4, schedule breaks or some downtime into your day. Very important. Regular breaks. Number 5, be present if you can regularly. And number 6, make sure you have some regular self-reflection. If you can hear right now, maybe, I'm not sure if you can hear it or not, there's a dog barking in the background. That's our dog. He's just saying, hey, he wanted to get on the podcast today. I was going to have a full interview with him, but he wasn't feeling up to it. And I'm not sure if any of you would understand him. Anyway, so, anyway, thanks for tuning in. This ended up being, about a regular episode here, minisode. So, those are those things. Try to create some balance in your life if you can, maybe over the weekend or next week or whatever. And one last thing I said at the beginning, if you're a regular listener and you made it this far and you listen almost every episode or whatever, and you're keeping up with this, let me know, please. No, everybody, if everybody did that, I would really appreciate it. I want to know who you listen to, who am I talking to? So, don't be a stranger. All right. Keep loving life, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll chat with you later. For more information about this episode or the show itself, head on over to harrisonkingofficial.com. There you'll be able to find the show notes, transcriptions, and videos for every episode. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Let's Talk About Life Pod. Now get out there and have a deep, meaningful conversation in your own life. We'll chat with you next time.